My beloved child, stop whatever you are doing right now and listen to me closely. Do not scroll past this. Do not let distraction pull your attention somewhere else. This is the exact moment you have been waiting for. You have been standing at a crossroads, staring at a path that splits in front of you, feeling the crushing weight of a massive choice pressing down on your chest. You have been tossing and turning in the dark, sleepless hours of the night, asking me, Lord, what do I do? Which way do I go? Please give me a clear sign before I make a terrible mistake. I heard every single one of those desperate whispers. I saw the silent tears of frustration you wiped away when no one else was looking. And I am telling you right now, your arrival here in this exact second is not an accident. This message is not a coincidence. This is the divine intervention, the direct answer, and the undeniable confirmation you have been praying for. I see the anxiety that has been tying your stomach in knots. I know the intense pressure you feel from the world, from the expectations of the people around you, and even from the ticking clock that makes you feel like you are running out of time. The enemy has been whispering panic into your ears, telling you to rush, telling you to just blindly pick a door and hope for the best. He wants you to act out of panic. But fear is not from me, and confusion is not my language. I have seen how terrified you are of making the wrong decision, of ruining your future, of stepping out of my perfect will. You have been carrying this massive burden entirely on your own fragile shoulders, believing that if you fail now, everything you have worked for will fall apart. But I am telling you to take a deep breath right now. Release that heavy breath you have been holding in for weeks. You do not have to figure this all out by yourself. I am the author of your life, and I have already written the beautiful chapters ahead. The decision you are about to make feels like an impossible mountain to you, but to me, it is already a cleared and paved road. I am stepping in today to give you the clarity you have been begging for. I am removing the heavy fog of doubt from your mind and the paralyzing panic from your heart. Stay with me. Listen to every single word of this message, because what I am about to reveal will change the direction of your life forever. Do not move from this spot. Your confirmation is finally here. My child, the first thing you must do before you take another step is release the false illusion of urgency that has been suffocating you. The world around you demands immediate answers, and the enemy uses this loud, chaotic rush to make you stumble. He whispers lies of scarcity into your mind, telling you that if you do not decide right this very second, the opportunity will vanish forever. The door will permanently close, and you will be left behind in the dust. But hear me clearly today. What I have divinely ordained for you cannot be missed, and what I have built for your destiny cannot be stolen by time. You are not running out of time, because I am the creator of time. I hold your past, your present, and your future in the palm of my hand. I see how you are completely paralyzed by the terrifying fear of making a wrong turn. You look at this major decision and think, what if I choose the wrong path and ruin everything I have worked so hard for? But my precious child, you are vastly underestimating my sovereignty and my endless grace. Even if your foot slips, even if you make a choice that is less than perfect, my hand is big enough to catch you, and my power is great enough to reroute your entire journey. Your human mistakes are never more powerful than my divine redemption. I can turn your missteps into miracles. You have been exhausting yourself, trying to calculate every possible outcome, trying to predict the future to protect yourself from pain and failure. You have made endless lists in your mind, weighing every pro and every con until your head spins and your spirit feels completely drained. But you were never meant to carry the heavy weight of tomorrow. That is my job. I need you to surrender your desperate need for total control. You want to see the entire illuminated staircase before you are willing to take the first step. but I am asking you to simply trust me with the very next step. I am already standing in your tomorrow. I have already walked down the paths you are looking at, and I have already prepared the exact provision, the right people, and the perfect circumstances you will need. Stop looking at your own human limitations and start looking at my infinite, boundless capability. The breakthrough you need regarding this massive decision is not going to come from stressing your mind until it breaks. It is going to come from resting your weary spirit in my comforting presence. Listen to me, my beloved child. There is a profound reason this decision feels so overwhelmingly heavy, and there is a reason you have felt completely drained of your emotional energy lately. You are not just facing a normal, everyday choice. You are standing in the middle of a fierce spiritual battle. The enemy knows exactly how much divine potential is wrapped up in the very next step of your life. He knows the immense blessings, the profound peace, and the incredible purpose I have waiting for you on the other side of this door. That is why he has been intentionally sending waves of confusion, distraction, and overwhelming doubt to cloud your mind. He wants you so intensely focused on the terrifying fear of making a mistake that you completely forget to listen to my voice. He wants you paralyzed by overthinking, drowning in the loud opinions of others, and constantly second-guessing the quiet, steady peace I have already placed deep inside your spirit. But I am commanding that confusion to leave you right now. I am silencing the loud voices of the world, the expectations of people who do not know your true heart, and the chaotic noise in your mind, so that you can hear my gentle, guiding whisper. You have been anxiously asking me for a massive, undeniable sign, but my guidance often comes in the form of a deep, unshakable peace that makes absolutely no sense to your logical mind. If a path brings you relentless anxiety, constant dread, and spiritual turmoil, it is not the door I am holding open for you. My path will always bring you a profound sense of peace, even if it requires a massive, terrifying leap of faith. I need you to stop fighting so desperately against the closed doors. You have been grieving the opportunities that did not work out and wondering why certain paths were suddenly removed from your life right as you approached this big decision. My precious child, that was not rejection. That was my divine protection. I was forcefully blocking the wrong paths so that you would not settle for a counterfeit version of my absolute best. I will never let you walk into a hidden trap if you are holding my hand. Trust my divine redirections. Trust my closed doors just as much as you trust my open ones, for they are both born out of my fierce, unwavering love for you. My beloved child, as you stand before this massive decision, I need you to remember exactly who you are and whose you are. You have allowed the heavy weight of this choice to make you completely forget your true identity. You have been looking in the mirror and seeing someone who is unqualified, someone who is deeply broken, someone who feels not smart enough or strong enough to handle what comes next. You have let the subtle lies of the enemy convince you that if you make one wrong move, your entire future will be completely shattered. But I am stepping in today to violently tear down those lies and restore your identity. You are not a forgotten orphan, wandering aimlessly through life, desperately trying to guess which path will keep you safe. You are my chosen child, deeply loved, fiercely protected, and held tightly by my unwavering grace. I have perfectly equipped you for this exact season. You are not inadequate. You are carrying my divine spirit inside of you, which gives you absolute power, boundless love, and a beautifully sound, clear mind. The reason this decision feels so terrifying is that you are stepping into completely uncharted territory. You are finally leaving the familiar, comfortable pain of your past and stepping toward the massive breakthrough I have meticulously prepared for you. It is entirely natural for your human heart to tremble when faced with the grand unknown, but you absolutely must not let that fear dictate your actions or hold you hostage. Your waiting season has been incredibly long, physically exhausting, and filled with countless silent tears, but I assure you it was never a punishment. It was a rigorous, necessary season of divine preparation. I was quietly fortifying your spirit, strengthening your endurance, and vastly expanding your capacity so that you could actually hold the massive blessing waiting on the other side of this open door. I was building a foundation inside of you that the storms of life will never be able to wash away. Do not shrink back now. Do not choose the familiar, safe, and comfortable path just because it is easier. The enemy wants you to play small because he is absolutely terrified of what will happen when you finally step fully into the magnificent calling I have placed on your life. I am telling you today, I have already given you the wisdom you need. The exact answer you are searching for is already resting quietly inside your spirit. Stop looking outward for the world's validation and start listening inward to my gentle voice. My beloved child, the hardest step in this entire journey is the step of absolute surrender. I know how deeply you want to control the exact outcome of this major decision. I know how desperately you want to peek around the corners of tomorrow to make absolutely sure that everything is going to be safe, secure, and perfectly aligned with your desires. You have convinced yourself that if you can just plan for every single possible scenario, you will somehow protect your fragile heart from being broken again. But I am asking you to do something today that feels completely unnatural to your human mind. I am asking you to let go of the steering wheel. I am asking you to take your trembling hands off the controls and place your entire future directly into my capable, loving hands. You are deeply terrified of the endless what-ifs. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I lose everything I have built? What if this is all a huge mistake? But my precious child, I want you to replace every single one of those anxious what-ifs with the profound, unshakable truth of who is walking with you. I am with you. I am the God who commands the raging winds and the crashing waves, the God who easily parts seas, and the God who brings dead, hopeless things back to vibrant, overflowing life. If I am the one walking right beside you, leading you step by step into this new season, then what do you truly have to fear? Surrender does not mean that you are giving up, and it certainly does not mean that you are weak. True spiritual surrender is the highest, most courageous form of faith you can possibly display. It is you looking at a terrifying, unknown future and confidently saying, Lord, I do not know how you are going to make this work, but I trust that you will. When you finally release your tight, exhausting grip on how you think this situation is supposed to unfold, you immediately give me the space to step in and perform miracles that your human mind cannot even begin to comprehend. I have blessings waiting for you that are so much bigger, richer, and more profoundly beautiful than the limited, safe plans you have made for yourself. Stop trying to force open the doors that I have firmly locked for your own protection, and stop anxiously staring at the handle of the door I'm currently opening for you. Walk through it with your head held high, completely resting in the promise that I am fiercely guarding your every single step. My beloved child, as you prepare to make this monumental decision, I need you to completely sever the ties to the opinions and expectations of other people. You have spent far too much time and energy trying to carefully construct a choice that will perfectly please everyone around you, desperately trying to avoid their judgment or their misunderstanding. But the destiny I have meticulously carved out for you was never meant to be understood by the crowds. Your calling is profoundly personal, and the path I am revealing to you is meant for your footsteps alone. If you constantly wait for the world's applause or the validation of those who do not know the depths of your spirit, you will remain entirely frozen in a place I have already commanded you to leave. Do not let the loud, chaotic voices of confusion drown out the gentle, steady whisper of my truth inside your heart. I see the heavy exhaustion in your eyes. I know you are feeling entirely depleted, spiritually drained, and mentally fatigued from constantly fighting this internal war. The enemy has been relentlessly attacking your peace, because he knows that a peaceful mind is able to hear my instructions clearly. He wants you living in a constant state of panic, emergency, and spiritual hyperventilation, so that you will blindly rush ahead of my perfect timing, or drastically shrink back in terror. But I am pouring a fresh, revitalizing oil over your mind right now. I am washing away the heavy fog of anxiety and replacing it with a crystal clear vision. You do not need a loud, booming voice from the heavens to know which way to go. You only need to follow the quiet, profound peace that I am placing deep within your soul today. That peace is your ultimate compass. It is the absolute confirmation you have been desperately begging for. When you finally align your trembling heart with my perfect will, the intense striving will cease. The desperate need to force doors open will completely vanish, and you will find yourself walking effortlessly into the new season I have prepared. The breakthrough is not found in figuring it all out. The breakthrough is found in stepping forward even when your hands are shaking, completely trusting that I will not let you fall. My child, as you prepare to step through this magnificent door of breakthrough, I must give you a serious and loving warning. You absolutely cannot carry the heavy baggage of your past into the bright, abundant future I have designed for you. You are standing right on the edge of a completely clean slate, yet your trembling hands are still tightly gripping the old hurts, the bitter resentments, and the painful scars left by those who deeply betrayed your trust. You have been replaying your old failures in your mind like an endless, exhausting loop, allowing the ghost of yesterday to dictate your true worth today. But hear my voice clearly. The blood of my son has already washed your slate perfectly clean. The mistakes you keep agonizing over, I have already forgiven and forgotten. Why do you continue to live your life as if you are still chained to a dark prison from which I have already completely set you free? There are certain toxic connections and heavy voices in your life that were never meant to travel with you into your tomorrow. I know it hurts to let go, and I know how deeply you value loyalty, but some relationships have become heavy anchors, dragging your spirit down into the mud of constant anxiety and self-doubt. You can feel it deep within your spirit. Every single time you are around them, your divine peace completely drains away, and the thick fog of confusion rolls back into your mind. Do not cling to what I am asking you to gently release. Love them, pray for them from a distance, but do not bind your destiny to people who refuse to walk in the light of my truth. Where I am leading you, only those who walk in my peace can walk beside you. Look forward, my beloved child. Do not look back with a longing heart toward a past that only brought you sorrow and exhaustion. Look directly at the open door, standing wide before you right now. Pick up your head, stand firm in your obedience, and prepare your heart to receive more. The old weights of shame, bitterness, and regret do not belong in your future. Let them fall to the ground in my name, and step lightly into the beautiful abundance that is waiting for your arrival. My beloved child, let us sit together quietly for a moment and look at how you have been trying to solve this massive puzzle. For decades, you have relied heavily on your own experience, your own sharp mind, and the practical survival instincts that have gotten you through so many storms in life. You have been treating this big decision like a complex mathematical equation, trying desperately to calculate every single risk, balance every liability, and predict every outcome. You have spent hours staring into space, creating endless spreadsheets of pros and cons in your mind until your thoughts are completely tangled like a ball of yarn. You are exhausting your mental energy because you are trying to find a path that feels totally safe to your human logic, a path that has zero risks and absolute guarantees from the world. But hear me clearly today. Your human intellect is an incredible gift that I gave you, but it was never designed to be your God. Your mind can only see the next 3 feet in front of your face, while my eyes see the entire vast horizon of your eternity. You are trying to solve a 1,000-piece puzzle while only holding 3 pieces in your hand. When you try to outthink your destiny, you create a deep spiritual friction inside your soul. You are trying to read a map that has not been unrolled yet, and that is why you feel so incredibly stuck. The map of your destiny does not unfold all at once. It unrolls precisely as you take the next step of blind obedience. My ways are not your ways, and my thoughts are infinitely higher than your human calculations. When I ask you to step into something new, I am almost always asking you to step completely past your logical understanding. If this choice made perfect sense to everyone around you and perfectly aligned with worldly probabilities, it would not require an ounce of faith. But I am calling you into a supernatural breakthrough. I am calling you to trust the master architect who built the very foundation you are standing on right now. Put down the heavy, exhausting scales of your logic. Quiet the frantic, analytical voice inside your head that demands immediate answers. Stop trying to force my divine timeline to fit into your human schedule. Let my absolute sovereignty be your ultimate security, and watch how effortlessly I arrange the pieces of your future. My child, look closely at yourself in this very moment. Pay attention to what this heavy decision is doing to your very body. I see how your shoulders have been hunched over, carrying an invisible mountain of stress. I see the tightness in your jaw as you overthink every scenario, and the deep lines of worry that have etched themselves onto your brow over these past few weeks. Your physical body is crying out, perfectly reflecting the deep spiritual exhaustion that has settled within your soul. You are physically fatigued because you have been running this marathon entirely in your own limited strength, trying to brace yourself for a crash that I have already promised to protect you from. When you hold your breath in fear, you are telling your heart that you are unprotected. But I am here right now to tell you to drop your shoulders, loosen your anxious grip, and let my supernatural peace flood your physical being. The enemy loves to present you with shortcuts that look deceptively easy. As you stand before this swaying decision, a counterfeit path may appear right in front of you, a path that promises immediate comfort, a quick escape from your financial or emotional strain, and the superficial approval of the world. Outwardly, it looks like the ultimate safe route, but I want you to look much deeper than the surface. If a path requires you to compromise your integrity, if it forces you to sacrifice the quiet peace in your chest, or if it makes you step away from the divine values I have spent years carefully building inside you, then it is a beautiful trap. A counterfeit door will always offer temporary relief, but leave a permanent hollow ache in your spirit. Do not settle for an illusion of safety just because you are tired of waiting. I did not bring you safely through the harsh wilderness just to let you settle in a land of painful compromise. The path I am currently opening for you might require more courage, and it might ask you to completely step away from what is familiar, but it will bring a deep, satisfying rest to your soul. Look past the immediate appearance of things. Stop judging your options based on your fear of temporary discomfort. When you choose the path that is truly aligned with my divine blueprint, your spirit will feel light, your breathing will return to normal, and the heavy tension in your body will finally dissolve. Trust the internal witness of my spirit over the external pressure of the world. My beloved child, look closely at how many people you have quietly run to, desperately seeking their opinions, their advice, and their permission before making this monumental choice. You have whispered your deepest dreams and your most terrifying fears to friends, to family members, and even to acquaintances who do not truly understand the divine weight of your spiritual calling. You did this because your human heart was feeling incredibly lonely and exposed, and you wanted a safety net. You wanted someone to tell you exactly what to do so that if things fell apart, you would not have to carry the heavy weight of the blame all by yourself. But hear my voice clearly today. I did not give the vision of your future to the people around you. I gave it directly to you. When you constantly ask those who are blind to your calling to guide your steps, you only invite their human projections, their deep-seated insecurities, and their own terrifying fears into your sacred space. They cannot see the magnificent doors I'm currently holding open for you because they are still trapped behind their own locked doors of doubt. Their advice will always tell you to play it safe, to choose the path of least resistance, and to remain in the comfortable, familiar territory where they can still reach you. But I am not calling you to an ordinary or comfortable life. I am calling you to step out onto the deep, wild waters of supernatural faith. Sometimes the greatest breakthrough in your life requires the highest level of holy isolation. Think of the great souls who walked with me before you. They had to leave the crowded rooms, say goodbye to the critics, and walk up the mountain, completely alone to hear my instructions. Do not be terrified by the sudden silence around you, or the fact that people are misunderstood by your choices as you stand before this big decision. It is my hand that is clearing the room. I am intentionally quietening the human noise so that my gentle whisper can become the loudest sound in your universe. Stop begging for a human green light when I have already given you my divine mandate. Trust the lonely path, for it is leading you straight into my glory. My precious child, you have arrived at the exact point in your journey where passive waiting must transform into radical, active obedience. You have spent weeks begging me for absolute certainty, asking for an ironclad guarantee that you will not feel any pain or face any resistance when you finally make this big decision. But I am reminding you today that faith is never the absence of risk. Faith is the presence of my unwavering power in the middle of that risk. If you wait until all your fears completely vanish before you step forward, you will remain entirely stuck on the shore of your past forever. I am not asking you to feel perfectly fearless. I am asking you to let your obedience be infinitely bigger than your trembling fear. The moment you finally commit to the path I have laid out for you and take that first courageous step, a supernatural realignment will instantly take place in the unseen realms. Doors that have been rusted shut for decades will suddenly swing wide open by the power of my breath. People who possess the exact resources, wisdom, and connections you need will suddenly be compelled by my spirit to seek you out and offer their assistance. Where there was once nothing but a barren, dry desert of lack, streams of supernatural favor will suddenly burst forth. You have been looking at this major decision through the narrow, suffocating lens of what you currently possess in your hands. But I need you to start looking at it through the lens of what I hold in mine. I am already moving hearts on your behalf. I am shifting the atmosphere in rooms you have not even entered yet. The financial resources, the emotional healing, and the divine wisdom you think are entirely missing are actually waiting for you at the next coordinate of your obedience. They will not manifest while you are still standing still at the crossroads, paralyzed by overthinking. They will appear the exact moment your foot touches the water. Stop asking me to show you the entire map before you are willing to move. Trust the hand that is holding yours, pick up your bags and step forward into the magnificent inheritance of favor that I have already secured for you. My beloved child, notice how the closer you get to finally executing this big decision, the louder and more frantic the whispers of doubt have suddenly become in your ear. This is what is known as the threshold panic. It is the fierce, chaotic spiritual storm that almost always rages right before you step into a massive, life-altering breakthrough. The enemy knows that you have finally decided to trust me with all your heart. He sees you packed up, standing at the very edge of your old season, ready to cross over into the land of abundance and purpose I have prepared. Because he can no longer stop my divine favor from descending upon your life, his final desperate strategy is to make you turn back around out of sheer terror at the finish line. He is flooding your mind with sudden, overwhelming thoughts of worst-case scenarios. He whispers in the dark, "What if the provision runs out halfway? What if you completely misunderstood God's voice? What if you drop your guards and end up humiliated?" But I am stepping in today to tell you, do not fall for this last-minute warfare. The intense resistance you are experiencing right now is the absolute proof of how magnificent your destination truly is. The enemy never wastes his arrows on empty vessels or dead paths. He is fighting you so fiercely because he is utterly terrified of the immense spiritual impact your radical obedience is about to make. When these sudden waves of panic crash against your mind, you must not shrink back into your old, suffocating comfort zones. Put on the armor of absolute faith. Remind your soul of every single storm I have already carried you through. Did I ever leave you to drown in the past? Did I ever allow your enemies to permanently destroy you? No. I have been your constant shield, your fierce defender, and your safe harbor through every lonely night and every valley of tears. The same God who sustained you in the dry wilderness is the exact same God who is leading you across this threshold today. Peace is not the absence of the storm. It is the deep, quiet assurance that I am inside the boat with you. Anchor your hope firmly in my unchanging promises. Stand completely unmovable at the door of your new beginning. The wind may howl and the waves may crash, but they have absolutely no authority to stop what I have already written for your destiny. Trust my word. Keep your eyes locked onto mine and take that next step through the open door. My beloved child, look at how the heavy fog is finally beginning to lift from your tired mind. Right now, in this very room, in this sacred and beautiful stillness, I am pouring a holy anointing of absolute clarity directly over your head. Can you feel the profound shift that is happening within your spirit? The relentless, agonizing back and forth that has brutally tortured your thoughts for months is finally coming to a complete, permanent stop. I am replacing that exhausting confusion with an unshakable, divine conviction. You are no longer standing at this crossroads as a blind, terrified traveler, desperately guessing which way to go. You are standing there as my precious heir, fully clothed in my sovereign authority, ready to step into a future that has already been meticulously cleared, paved, and consecrated by my own hand. The decision you are about to execute is no longer a blind gamble, a risky chance, or a desperate roll of the dice. It is a holy step into a divine covenant. When you open your mouth to declare your choice, when you sign that paperwork, when you close the door on that old, painful chapter, or when you step boldly into that brand new territory, I need you to know this with 100% certainty. All of heaven is backing you up. You are not walking down this path on your own merits or in your own fragile human strength. My favor is going before you like an unpierceable shield, and my goodness is trailing right behind you like a beautiful royal garment. The very people who quietly doubted you and tried to predict your ultimate downfall will stand in absolute awe as they witness how effortlessly my blessing wraps around your radical obedience. Look straight ahead, my child. The horizon of your future is no longer dark, terrifying, or filled with stormy unknowns. It is radiant with the bright dawn of my ancient promises. The heavy physical tension that has locked up your body, the tightness in your chest that made it hard to breathe, is completely melting away right now under the immense warmth of my comforting presence. Your heart is finally returning to its steady, peaceful rhythm because you know, deep down in your soul, that I am entirely in control. I am locking down the ultimate victory for you. Every single sacrifice you made in the dark, every tear you hid from the world, and every moment you chose to stay faithful when it deeply hurt, I am turning it all into the beautiful fuel for your greatest breakthrough. You are fully ready. The anointing is upon you, the path is wide open, and my presence is your absolute guarantee. My precious child, we have arrived at the final, most sacred threshold of this divine encounter. Do not treat these closing moments lightly, for what has been spoken into your spirit today is now eternally sealed in the heavenly realms. Look at how far your heart has traveled from the very first second you opened this message. You arrived here carrying a crushing mountain of silent anxiety, completely paralyzed by the terrifying fear of making a wrong turn and drowning in the chaotic noise of human expectations. But look at yourself now. The heavy, suffocating fog of confusion has completely dissolved under the warmth of my presence. The phantom weight of tomorrow has been lifted off your fragile shoulders, and the restless trembling in your spirit has quieted into a deep, beautiful stillness. You are standing tall, fully aligned with my perfect will, completely wrapped in my supernatural peace, and entirely ready to execute this big decision with absolute, unshakable boldness. I am repeating my promises to you one final time, because I want my words of love and authority to be anchored so deeply within your soul that no storm of life, no whisper of doubt, and no weapon of the enemy will ever be able to uproot them. Remember this truth through every single step of your journey. I am your Lord, your Savior, your constant companion, your fierce defender, and your ultimate supplier. I have gone ahead of you into your tomorrow. I have already leveled every impossible mountain, parted every raging sea, and meticulously cleared a magnificent path of supernatural favor for your feet to walk upon. You are not stepping into a hollow emptiness or a terrifying void of the unknown. You are stepping directly into a future that I have already filled to absolute overflowing with my goodness, my provision, and my protection. Your grueling season of waiting is officially over. The harsh winter of lack, confusion, and isolation is breaking right now, and the glorious dawn of your divine breakthrough is rising bright before your eyes. Do not look back with a hesitant heart at what I have commanded you to leave behind in the dust. Do not resurrect the old failures or the bitter regrets that I have already washed perfectly clean. Your past no longer holds a single ounce of authority over the magnificent destiny I have written for you. Pick up your bags with radical faith, take my hand with absolute trust, and step boldly through the open door standing wide before you. If you know with all your heart that I am making a way for you today, if your faith rests completely and securely in Christ alone, type Amen in the comments right now to claim this divine breakthrough. Share this video with someone who is currently standing at a dangerous crossroads, so they too can hear my voice and find the courage to believe in their miracle. Go forward in absolute victory, my beloved child. I am with you in every single breath, guarding you, guiding you, and blessing you far beyond anything your human mind could ever imagine. This is not your end. This is your beautiful, magnificent new beginning.